Good afternoon. This is Joe O'Connor, and I'm CEO of VIZI Recruiter, and we're here today with Kim Benedict, who is CEO of TalentMinded. And welcome, Kim.
Thanks, Joe.
Let's start from the beginning. Where did you first hear about VIZI, and what piqued your interest?
So I think originally I found VIZI online. I saw an advertisement for VIZI Recruiter. I was curious as to what it was all about. Looked very interesting. It's quite possible that VIZI found me somehow and followed through on the demo. And I think it was within 24 hours we were up and running and sharing and creating VIZIs. So it was an easy transition for us once we found VIZI and learned more about what you had to offer.
That's great. And what was business like before that, before you engaged with VIZI? And was there a particular problem you were trying to solve?
Yes, absolutely. Part of our offering is that we help manage the full end-to-end recruitment lifecycle. So that's not just recruiting and sourcing, but also the branding and administrative parts of recruitment to drive, obviously, quality of hire. And so the big problem we were trying to solve for at the time was a couple of things. So number one, we knew early on that job ads were a company's first impression, and that branding, it was getting harder and harder for companies to differentiate themselves. So we were looking for a way we already had created these unique job ads, which we thought were very different from your traditional laundry list of skills, but it was still very text-based. And so we were looking for a better way to position our job ads in the marketplace, which was already a creative document, but it still obviously lacked the visual attractive nature. So that was number one. And number two, just as a total offering to an organization, how do we brand an organization without spending or having access to a large budget? And how do we do that quickly? So VIZI allowed us to accomplish those two things literally overnight when we first started working together.
That's great to hear. Thank you. And Kim, I know that your company, TalentMinded, is one of the leading talent and HR agencies in all of Canada. What really prompted you to pull the trigger a couple of years ago and work with VIZI, particularly given we were quite new at that time and it could have been risky for you?
Yeah, I think there's a couple of things. I love getting in early on organizations like yours, Joe. So I love being an early adopter and really being able to differentiate ourselves as a recruiting solutions company. And so I really believe that if you're not taking risks or you're not trying new things, especially things that are very cost effective and easy to implement, then I don't think you're driving any value in the organization, whether you're in-house or whether you're like us, you're an extension of an HR team. So I don't mind taking good calculated risks, especially when you're able to partner with somebody like yourself, who obviously was involved in VIZI from the ground up. You have the opportunity to influence the roadmap of the product. And, we really didn't want to be caught up in this like sea of sameness around branding and job ads. And so I like the fact of getting into VIZI very early on. And I wanted to make sure we weren't the last company to adopt VIZI where you're in the sea of VIZIs all of a sudden. So it was really important to us where we were able to partner with you and just show how different we were in the market to our clients.
Well, that's excellent. That's very kind. I know you have hundreds of engagements with companies that you serve across every industry. And what is their response to VIZI? And what is the impact from the standpoint of their talent attraction goals? Can you give us some insight into that?
So I'm obviously biased, but I will say that our hiring managers love VIZIs. they understand what they are, and because of the level of engagement and how great they look, they're very proud to share them on social media. So driving engagement and trying to create this recruitment culture is a very difficult thing to do, especially with busy hiring managers. And so we found that we're actually able to drive a lot more engagement than just a straight link to a job ad on an ATS. So the VIZIs actually create more of a call to action for our hiring managers. So that's one of the biggest benefits and outcomes or changes in the way that we work with our clients that we've seen using VIZIs. As an example, we're extremely data driven, so we actually track and our conversion rates, and we're actually able to see anywhere from 3 to 5 times more engagement on a VIZI than any other normal job ad. So I've found that the relationship and our ability to drive engagement with our hiring managers, which obviously has a direct outcome on your ability to hire quickly and drive referrals, et cetera. So from that perspective, it's been a real game changer.
That's great. And Kim, both myself and other members of our team have often been at the very great meetups that you hold, the seminars, and they're always very informative and important. And I know about your emphasis on data. And I think what some people underestimate is just how VIZI can perform in various channels, including social media. And I'm wondering about your experience with VIZI and social media.
Yeah, so I'll answer your question this way. So one of the things I think companies get caught up on working with companies like yours or other technology or add-on technologies is this idea of every technology platform or recruiting solution that you use has to integrate with your applicant tracking system. And oftentimes they will get stuck, or they won't be able to innovate or get creative or use a platform like yours as a result. And so I actually believe the opposite is true. I believe that the one great value proposition on VIZI is that it doesn't actually integrate with just 1 or 2 applicant tracking systems. It can live wherever you want it to live, and it will engage and drive results accordingly. So you're actually not boxed in necessarily by one technology, and especially if you don't have a modern technology platform or you have a lagging version of a technology, you can oftentimes be limited, and that can be part of the challenge of competing with other bigger branded recruitment strategies. So I hope that answers your question, but I really wanted to get that point across, that for the cost and for the level of integration and implementation, it can be a way to make your brand and your job ad, for example, or your job opportunity look like you spent hundreds of thousands of dollars, and you're not limited by any other integration or platform restrictions that might get you stuck in your company.
That's great. I appreciate that, and frankly, we've heard that before, and we were amazed that the fact that it can be used without full integration, a lot of people have a sigh of relief, because that can take lots of time. So I appreciate that. Just one final question. What would you say to talent attraction folks currently considering VIZI for their companies who may be wondering if it's a good choice?
Well, my number one is don't get too stuck on integrations or get stuck in legal, for example. I would say that find a way to get started, because you will only build on your VIZI creation and how you can leverage it across your organization. So just get started would be my recommendation. And one of the ways that we've been able to leverage VIZI and get really kind of creative and think outside the box is just by better understanding and learning as we go with the platform. And then being able to tailor a lot of our processes specifically to drive the best recruiting or sort of VIZI output as we can. So I would say the best advice is just don't go too back to basics, and don't get stuck on any type of legal or integration issues. the thing I like about VIZI is it is a tool that is built for recruiters, and it is an attraction tool that is cost effective and easily implemented. And there really isn't a lot of that out there that has this amount of impact on being able to drive applications, for example. So, you know, it's not something that is bolted on to another HR system that has multiple uses across the organization, and you need to get all sorts of buy-in. It's a recruiter tool, and so built specifically for talent acquisition leaders. So I would embrace that as much as you possibly can.
So thank you, Kim. I'm smiling because I don't think anyone would believe we didn't rehearse this, but that was so great, and I appreciate it. And you've been such a great partner, and you are the North, and go Raptors. But thank you so much for your time today, and hopefully I'll see you soon. Thanks.
Thank you.